Hi everybody, today we take 7 minutes to install a graph database, Neo4J, and connect to it via Blueprint. I did a small presentation, just 2 slides, to really dump down all the links that you need, all the installations and all the commands that you have to trigger. Down here you see the URL of it, and it's mostly really Docker, curl, and a couple of command lines. We use Docker. Docker is a software that plays images, and images are small Linux environments that have normally one function. You see, I search for Neo4J, and you see there are a lot of possibilities. Bitnami is one very good one, or the pure Neo4J. Both are possible here, and we will take one of the containers here and use that as an installation. So, downloading Docker, installing Docker, that's a prerequisite that you need. That is the first thing that you have to do. Then we can either use the graphical UI, but we will actually use the command line because it's easier to give it parameters. Then we install curl. Curl is a command line tool to test APIs. Not totally necessary here, but it makes things a bit easier to test things around. And then last stage, we can go to blueprints. I recommend bitnami here. You see the command line because it has a couple of components. So then you fire this command here. Docker, the name, the port, D is disconnected, so it runs in the background. This is very important because this is the directories where the things will be stored. So either in Windows you create that directory and put it in here, or in Linux you can use the home directory. But that is important because everything that you do in your database needs to be persistent. Otherwise it stays in the container and gets deleted. Here I have authorization none, that is valid for the standard. Neo4j bitnami comes with authorization username password, that is Neo4j and bitnami1. Then I need one line, otherwise I cannot copy it in and run it. And yeah, it's running, it does not find the container, it downloads it, the image, and it will launch it. And you see here an update on the bottom right. Yeah, it's launched now, it's called inventory Neo4j. And there's the port that I can click, and clicking the port will open the interface. Either directly connecting to it with no authentication or using Neo4j bitnami1 if you use the bitnami recommended. Here you can start with Cypher commands. You see the Cypher URL here. Have a look at it. It's a very easy to learn language, much easier to learn than standard SQL, and it's extremely powerful. So very recommended. That's a small one here, generating a random UID. And now let's try to do something similar on the command line to see if the connection from the outside to the server is running. We download curl for Windows. In Linux is just a package that you can load, and curl command line, and it's there to query APIs. Looking at this here, the curl commands post something into it. You need a couple of headers, H, accept application JSON, and content type application JSON. That is something we will rediscover in Blueprint. That is the URL that we will query. And then we have the statement. That is exactly what Neo4j is expecting. An array of statements. And here our statement is just return a random UID, and that's it. So we will connect to the API, we will query the JSON, we will get the JSON from the Neo4j engine, and looking at it, it's connecting, it's local port here at the moment. Also very easy to deploy in the cloud, by the way. And here we get our results, and the results seems to be a nested JSON object and containing a UID. So if I do it here in this JSON formatter, it looks a bit better. Then you see actually, there's a results entry, that is the highest level. Then we have columns and data. The data have rows and metadata. In the row, we see our result, the UID. So that's something that we then have to figure out how to use that programmatically with blueprints. That comes later. Today, we just want to have the connection and install. Second step, we go into Unreal. First thing, we have to use that plugin, the new one, experimental HTTP blueprint. Then we need a couple of blueprint code. I put it here into the path bin. Then we connect that code to a begin play, for example, for third party or a third person character or the level blueprint, and then we run it. First thing first, the plugin is called HTTP Blueprint. You have to enable that and possibly restart your game. That is there to offering that request. Other than that, it's a standard third-person template that I use here. Then I go here to my blueprint copy in this past bin for blueprints. I copy the object. I think about where to put it. I would say third-person blueprints, maybe just a begin play event. Let's open that. Here's my character, just to try it out. I copy in what I copied from the blueprint UE. And here we go. We will go through it. First, let's take our begin play and connect it with this HTTP post request that comes from the plugin that we just installed. What it does something. When the request was successful, it should print what it got. And yeah, seems to be in green. You see there's a result. If you look at it, the structure is similar to what we have seen. I actually have a command here that just shows your Neo4j engine version. And let's see. We are querying that URL, the very same that we did from curl. That's a local host. We post something to it, not get or something. We have a header. Header is partially that we already know. We have application JSON for accept and for content type. We have the access mode, that is either read or write. I did write here, but yeah, just reading things makes it faster. And then authorization, that is either none. If you use the standard Neo4j, you can use either none, or you have to encode your username password. Just go to that URL. It will give you the option to base64 encode something. So how does that look like? Yeah, you have here the basic authentication header generator. For bitnami, for example, it's Neo4j, and then bitnami1. If I base encode that, I get that string, and that is exactly the string that the header is expecting an authorization. Then we need the Cypher query. Again, it's the statements with an array of statement. Here, the DBMS component, that's only giving back the JSON version, and that is exactly what we fire. So yeah, running it again, we get back a string that we can print out, and here we go. So quite easy, 7 minutes. So problem is, of course, doing something meaningful with the results, but storing your data as a standard in something like a graph database is extremely easy and is much more powerful than standard SQL, like SQLite or something. So I really recommend something like that. And the language is very, very easy to learn, and it's very scalable. So we have a connection here. We want to dive deeper into the connection and see how to use it. That comes in the next videos. Thank you very much. See you soon.